Day 2, didn't think it could get better than day 1, but it certainly seems like it did. We had 4 great games again today, and we're going to recap all of them here on the 307 Baseball Recap Show live from the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. Cullen Holt with you. So happy to have you alongside as we rewind the Tuesday action and get you ready for the Wednesday action as the AA state tournament rolls on. We had so many great performances from teams and individuals, and we're going to try to talk about all of them over the course of this 307 Baseball Recap Show. Why don't we just start from the top? The 10 a.m. start time, Evanston and Rock Springs. Want to talk about conference opponents that have seen each other a lot this season? Those two teams, they fit the bill right there. Jagger Mitchell gets things started with a sac fly in the bottom of the first. Evanston jumps out to the early lead. They would extend that lead to 3-zip on the Impact Physical Therapy scoreboard in the bottom of the second when Hank Allred came up with an RBI. So a 2-run frame there in the second. They would kind of break the game wide open. Bottom of the fourth, everybody started to get on the party when the fourth rolled around. Derek McDonald had an RBI. Ashton Eldridge had an RBI. Gus Allred brought in a run as well. Runs scored on errors, and they ended up building the lead all the way up to 13-0. Clayton Moyles 2 for 4 ribbies, 2 runs scored. Ashton Eldridge on the mound for the Outlaws in the 13-0 victory. He goes 4 innings, 5 strikeouts, 3 hits, and the shutout for the Outlaws as well. 13-0, the final in Game 1. Evanston and Rock Springs. Evanston advances in the loser's bracket. Rock Springs is eliminated as that game ended. And a pretty good showing by the Outlaws, responding after that 9-2 loss to Sheridan from Monday. So a much better Tuesday performance for the team from the southwest corner of the state, as again, Rock Springs has eliminated a couple of AA West teams duking it out. Speaking of the AA West, move on now to the 1 p.m. time. Here goes Casper and Jackson, another conference opponent matchup. These two teams know each other pretty well as we get you set for the 1 p.m. game. Casper got out to an early lead. Then they got out to an even bigger lead. Then they ran the score all the way up to 23-1. That was the final score in this game. You just saw Pickett put the ball in play. Caden Wilcox brings a run in with a sac fly. This was in the first inning, so it was just 2-0 at that point. Not too bad. But then just an inning later, things started to get out of hand as Casper's offense, which has been good all season, but this was next level. Braden Barr with a 2 RBI, and Cole Douglas steps up to the plate. This would make it 6-0 in the top of the third. A home run, his 7th of the season. That brought in 2 runs. And then in the top of the third, Braden Barr goes right back to work. He's got the 2 RBI triple. A balk would bring in another run. So then Casper's up 10-0, and the top of the fourth was just Casper's offense having a lot of fun. Cooper Hack with a single, 2 runs came in on that. Wilcox with a 3 RBI double. Samson Wagner with an RBI single. Finally, Jackson got on the board in the bottom of the fourth. You'll see that run in just a moment. And at top of the fifth, that is when Casper added 6 more runs. So that's how we got that final of 23-1. There's Nissenberg grounding out. Run comes in on the play. So there's Jackson's 1 run. The Giants get eliminated. They had a great season, as did Rock Springs. There were no bad teams really in this tournament. Just Casper, after that close loss to Gillette the day before, they came back on a Tuesday and went to work offensively. Defense was right there too, though. Beckham Stowe, 2 innings of work, 4 strikeouts, gave up just 2 hits and pitched a shutout and kept it at 30 pitches. So he's available anytime if Casper wants to go right back to him. Braden Barr, 3 for 4. 5 RBIs and 5 runs scored. So the elimination games over for the Tuesday action. We move on now to the winner's bracket. Cheyenne and Sheridan was the 3rd game of the day. This one started at 4 p.m. Let's roll the tape from Cheyenne-Sheridan as the Sixers continue to do what they do best, and that's, well, win baseball games. 5-1 ends up being the final in this one. The Troopers kept it close but just couldn't overcome Cheyenne's early lead, which was 2-0 in the top of the second. After Ty Lobmeyer and Julian Romero put balls in play and got the Sixers moving around the base paths. Top of the fourth, Dominic Lopez would also add to the action. This is when Cheyenne started to extend their lead and make it more and more difficult for Sheridan to come back. They would build it all the way up to a 5-0 lead in that fourth inning. Like we said, Dominic Lopez, Coulter McAnally, and Mason Tafoya just kind of one after another, putting balls in play, getting runners moving, and bringing them home. So at the end of the fourth, it would be 5-0. Cody Kilpatrick got a run back for Sheridan later on in the game. Onisto, we're going to talk about him a little bit later. He was on the bump for Cheyenne, and he had a spectacular performance. So give us just a little bit, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. But we finish up the highlights here. Like we said, Cody Kilpatrick in the bottom of the fifth had the lone run for Sheridan. And that Cheyenne defense played really, really well behind Onisto as well, as they got the job done. Here is a 5-4-3 double play in the bottom of the sixth to make sure that Sheridan never was able to get the door open enough to come back into this game and make it too close. So Cheyenne wins it 5-1, the final. That was the third game of the day. Nobody eliminated in that one. That was a winner's bracket game. So Sheridan just drops down now to the lower half of the bracket on the loser's side. And Cheyenne moves ahead with no losses to their name as the Sixers continue to take care of business in this tournament. Laramie Gillette, that was the nightcap. The host team playing under the lights again. And this was a much-anticipated matchup. Both these teams just kind of squeaked into the next round in the winner's bracket, both of them with one-run victories on Monday. Here they are going head-to-head on a Tuesday. Top of the first, Brandon Chavez. He was on the mound as well. He puts the ball in play. Aiden Morris scores. Laramie on top early. Gillette says, I see your one run, and I'll answer right back. Zane Eliason with a ground out brings Caden Race around after he hit a triple. Well, then Laramie just kind of got to work. You'll see some highlights from their offensive performance. That was an almost triple play there at the end of the game that you just saw. But top of the third, Riley Hogsett, he had a good game, 2 RBI single. Top of the fourth, Ben Malone, Aiden Morris, and Riley Hogsett all brought in runs. That's when Laramie opened the game up to a 7-1 advantage. And Gillette would end up getting another run back later on, but just too big of a lead for this Laramie team. They have looked really good over the past 2 nights, and a little bit later on, we're going to try to get Aaron Lozano, the manager for Laramie, the host team, playing well, and under the lights, no less. That makes it extra fun, doesn't it? The walk-off last night, and then the big victory over Gillette, a team from their conference, tonight by the final of 9-2, and Riley Hogsett, 4 RBIs, a big game for him as well, as Laramie gets the 7-run victory. They advance. Again, nobody eliminated in that one either. It was a winner's bracket matchup, and so Gillette will just drop down to that loser's side. We'll get you those matchups later on when we really look into the brackets. That'll be in a few moments. We teased this a little bit. We're going to talk about Onisto and the performance that he had on the mound. Travis Onisto goes the distance, the complete game, and just 1 run allowed, 6 hits, 7 strikeouts in 7 innings. Travis Onisto with a fantastic performance for the Cheyenne Sixers. So exciting to see all these teams playing at their best at just the right time. It seems like everybody has really lived up to the moment here at the 2021 AA State Tournament out at Cowboy Field in Laramie. We are live from the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. I'm Cullen Holt. We're going to step aside and hear from the Wyoming Seatbelt Coalition because everybody's got a reason to buckle up. Question is, what's yours? And then when we come back, we'll kind of break down those brackets, and we've got some special guests that'll stop by on the 307 Baseball Recap Show as well. That's coming up next after the break.
From one corner of the state to the other, over 82% of Wyomingites wear their seatbelts. And to the 18% who don't, we say, let's buckle up for life, Wyoming.
I'm Officer Kevin Malatesta, Public Information Officer for the Cheyenne Police Department. The Cheyenne Police Department for the May mobilization is really looking for people who aren't seatbelted in their cars. It's a secondary violation in Wyoming, but as we make traffic stops for speeding, cell phones, whatever it may be, we're going to be looking to make sure that people have their seatbelts on. As we've gone over, seatbelts do save lives, and way too many people in Wyoming aren't wearing them. We want to make sure that people get home safely, get to see their families again. So if they're involved in a car accident and that seatbelt is on, there's a much higher likelihood of that person making it through that accident, making it through without injuries even. When we have crashes without seatbelts, the consequences are much more severe.
Welcome back. We've got a lot to cover in the second half of this 307 Baseball Recap Show. Cullen Holt with you, welcoming you back to the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. Let's take a look at the brackets. A little bracketology action for you on a late Tuesday evening, getting you ready for Wednesday's action. Cheyenne and Laramie. That will be the game tomorrow under the lights. The two teams that have not yet lost in this tournament, one of them will have lost after that game is over tomorrow, as Cheyenne takes care of business against Sheridan 5-1, Laramie 9-2 over Gillette. So they move on. They'll face off at 7 p.m. Here's what the losers bracket looks like now after Sheridan and Gillette drop down. First game of the day at 1 p.m., Casper and Sheridan square off on a Wednesday, then Evanston Gillette at 4. And that will be a couple of elimination games. Two more teams will go home after those games tomorrow. And then it'll really get interesting as we'll have that one team with no loss, three teams with one losses. We'll kind of go into those quasi-semifinals. And there is a lot to talk about, a lot to digest. So with that being said... And we welcome in now Coach Aaron Lozano. Coach, your Laramie Rangers have been playing well at home. First of all, what has that environment been like for you? I watched these broadcasts on my local radio. It sounds like you've got the whole town behind you.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And, you know, the guys, they really like playing in front of the crowd. This is a team that doesn't kind of buckle under that pressure, right? Sometimes when you get the whole hometown crowd out there, you start to press a little bit, but not these guys. They just kind of soak it in, and they enjoy playing baseball.
Coach, what's been going right for you guys? I know there were maybe some question marks around you after you had a little trouble at the end of conference play coming into this tournament. You have kind of silenced those question marks. What has been going right for you guys?
You know, I think for us, one of the big things is when the bottom of our order produces, we win big ball games, and that's been happening the last couple of nights. Guys like Diego Medina, Ben Malone, Tate Moore, when those guys are on, it kind of fires up the rest of the team. We kind of always get big performances out of our veterans. Aiden Morris, 4 for 5 tonight. Ryan Chamberlain with just heads-up base running. You know, those are the things that we know we're going to get. But when the 7, 8, 9 guys are on, the Rangers are pretty tough.
What was your message to this team before Game 1 of the tournament yesterday?
Basically, our message and our mantra through this whole time has been, why not us, right? We go out, we play Ranger baseball. When we play Ranger baseball, we win baseball games. So why can't we do that now? Why can't it be our turn?
People are circling that 7 o'clock game tomorrow against Cheyenne. What do you think the keys are for you guys?
I think there's kind of 3 keys that I always say, and there's nothing secret about them, and they're maybe even a little bit boring. But if our pitchers throw strikes, our defense makes routine plays, and we're smarter than the other team on the base paths, we feel like we can win any baseball game.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Obviously, a dramatic win last night. You're under the lights again tonight. You take care of business. Under the lights again tomorrow night against Cheyenne. Coach, I hope you really just enjoy this time and taking the moment as well, especially with you guys being the hosts. And thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for everything that you've done with the podcast, with Elon, with everybody. It's really been great to see these guys all around the state getting the attention they deserve. We really appreciate the work you guys are doing.
You're absolutely right. They do deserve it. But that is Aaron Lozano. He's the manager for Laramie, and he's got his team undefeated thus far in the state tournament. Thanks, Coach.
Great. Thanks, Colin.
Brandon Chavez joins us now from Laramie. I just talked to Aaron Lozano, your manager. He said he really likes the way that you guys are playing. He said it's a why not us mantra. How do you feel about this team right now, Brandon?
We're on fire right now. We definitely woke up the best night, and defense had my back. After that first run in the first inning from Gillette, we just bounced back and just held them through the rest of the game and just added runs the entire time. Were you in the zone tonight on the mound? Oh, for sure. That was basically all I was trying to focus on. And, my coach, he was like, hopefully I stay under 60 so I can pitch in the championship game, but he let me go the full way, which I'm very glad he did. Okay, so you're glad that you got to go the full way, huh? Yeah. I mean, I would love to pitch in the championship game at our home field, but personally, I just feel like this win as a team really is going to give us the energy to get us to that point. There you go. How nice is it, and how much confidence does it give you as a pitcher when you've got the team behind you playing as well as they have been? It's amazing because you can spot any pitch that you want. Even if you miss a spot and they hit a good base hit, you know that they'll have your back right after that.
Brandon, this team, I asked the same question to your coach. A little bit of trouble at the end of the regular season. You know, we're not going to deny that. But how did you guys turn it around and get ready for the state tournament?
We definitely were way more focused and just straight on the first game of the state tournament, not today, not Wednesday, just against Jackson, not focusing past them.
Well, Brandon, I appreciate you stopping by. I'll let you put some ice on the wing or whatever you need to do and get ready to keep on rolling with the Laramie Rangers. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you.
As Elin now scoots into the chair, puts the headset on. Elin, it's been another fun day of baseball, huh? But really, you got to look ahead to that 7 p.m. matchup tomorrow because as fun as Laramie has been to watch, Cheyenne has been taking care of business. What have you seen from them?
You know, me and Grant Storbo talked about it in the broadcast. Cheyenne's starting a little slow, but that fourth inning, that seems to be the one that they go off on. That's where they took control of the game against Sheridan today, and it just shows how poised this team is. They can have a slow start. They don't panic. They know their time's going to come, and that's exactly what you expect out of a top team in a league like this.
Yeah, they've definitely been methodical. It'll be interesting to see what happens against Laramie, but does it kind of feel like Cheyenne maybe has reserved some extra things in the tank? For instance, Feeser comes to mind. There's some pitching I feel like that they've been holding off on for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Bradley Feeser yet. You're absolutely right. Coulter McAnally was a very low pitch count yesterday. He could go tomorrow. There's definitely a lot left in the tank if you're Ty Lane and Cheyenne Post 6.
Real quick, let's talk about those elimination games tomorrow. A couple of good ones. What are kind of the top highlights from those two games?
Casper coming back with a vengeance. They were mad they lost that extra inning game to Gillette, and they came to send a message, and message was received. They're here to challenge for a state title.
Yeah, Casper Sheridan tomorrow, and then you got that Evanston-Gillette game. That'll be an intriguing one as well. What are your thoughts on that?
That's very interesting because we haven't seen Matt Newland on the mound yet for Gillette. Evanston kept Gus Allred and Kason Smith to 60 pitches yesterday, so they could go tomorrow. I will be very surprised if we don't see Gus Allred versus Matt Newland in that second elimination game at 4:00.
It's going to be fun. Hey, Elin, thanks so much for stopping by. You've got your group of guys out there calling things from the Union broadcast booth again tomorrow with 3 games.
Absolutely, yeah. Chris Brentel, Grant Storbo, big thank you to those guys. They've done a fantastic job.
They certainly have. Elin, take care, man.
We'll see you in the morning, Colin.
Back in the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. The headset is off now. Back talking to just you guys. But a big thanks to Coach Lozano, Brandon Chavez, and our guy Elin Olive for all swinging by here on the 307 Baseball Recap Show as well. One last time, let's look at the brackets and let's see how everything lines up for tomorrow. Again, that nightcap game, 7 p.m., Cheyenne and Laramie. Wow, Post 6 playing well. Laramie, they are the home team with the momentum. That's going to be a heavyweight showdown in the winner's bracket. Loser's bracket side of things, these teams fighting to keep their seasons alive. 1 p.m., Casper versus Sheridan. 4 p.m., Evanston versus Gillette. All those AA games will be live on mylocalradio.com. Chris Brentel, Grant Storbo, and Elin Olive will be out there at the Union broadcast booth, Cowboy Field in Laramie. Before we go, let's check in on our single A friends. We've got matchups for the state championship game. Cody versus Cheyenne. If Cody wins, they're the state champs in the single A. If Cheyenne wins, they'll play again later on. Game time's 11 and maybe 1:30 depending on the result of that 11 a.m. game. So a lot of good baseball still to be taken in around the Cowboy State over the course of the next couple days. And 4 good games today. The sad part is we only have 3 games tomorrow. The really exciting part, though, is that they're going to be 3 very important and very exciting games. And you can watch them live on mylocalradio.com. We're going to talk to you guys after the first game. We'll break everything down. We'll have the recap show again tomorrow from the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming studios. And we'll continue to blow out the coverage at the AA State Wyoming American Legion Baseball Tournament out there at Cowboy Field in Laramie. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. For myself, I'm Cullen Holt. Everybody at mylocalradio.com. Enjoy the baseball.